Hey everybody, and welcome to Virtual Trek Con with Saru Lofton, of course.
Hello, hello.
This is our awesome Discovery panel with David Benjamin Tomlinson.
Hello.
You know him as Linus, or David Benjamin Tomlinson. Also, Hannah Spear, who is Siranna, the Kelpian, and Raven Dauda.
Hey.
Dr. Pollard, who we're going to make sure is the Chief Medical Officer by the end of today. And
Yes.
Mr. Doug Jones, you know him as Saru, Commander Saru, Captain Saru, soon to be Admiral Saru.
Oh, now we don't know any of that yet.
Promotions all around for everyone.
Yeah, sure. I deem it so.
So
Great Doug Jones.
yeah.
Hi, Sarak.
It's so good to see you again.
Oh,
My
you
cheeks
too.
miss you.
I know.
For those of you that don't know, Doug is a notorious cheek squeezer, or cheek cupper, at the very least.
Right. So if everybody leans in, give me y'all. There we go.
Oh yeah. There it is.
On the nose. That's right.
So David, Hannah, and Raven, you guys are all in Toronto, right? You guys are our local hires, and we're hearing that it was very stormy, and now it's extremely hot.
Yeah.
You guys have any idea what it's going to be like tomorrow?
It's a hot summer, like Stevie Wonder said, hotter than July. It's just, it's good for the skin, though. We're getting a lot of the perfect glow happening up here. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we're all dry out here in California, so you have the humidity, that summer humidity there in Toronto.
Yeah.
But I always say though, where there is moisture, there is life. Does that help?
So let's talk about Discovery for a moment, shall we? David, you've played multiple characters. You've been a Kelpian. You've been two Klingons.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a Saurian.
Mm-hmm.
So the good news is that we know that you can actually play a human at some point, a totally different character, because nobody's seen your face yet, right?
Yes.
Are you-
At this point, I'm enjoying the prosthetic adventure so much, I'd actually be loath to give it up because I'm doing so much learning and growing, and it's such an amazing challenge and adventure that if they were like, I'd like to keep playing prosthetics characters as long as I can.
There's a fellow by the name of Jeffrey Combs who's an incredible actor, and he's legendary in Star Trek lore. And part of the reason is because he gets to play so many different aliens, and they can just keep reusing him over and over and over again. Is that something that you're looking forward to doing? Maybe beyond Discovery. Maybe you can also be in Strange New Worlds. Maybe you can also be in, all the other, Section 31 or the other ones, because nobody has seen your face. So there is that option of doing other roles.
I'd be happy to show up anywhere at this point. There is something really wonderful about putting on another face or another head and getting to know what that character is and how they behave, and creating relationship and story. So wherever it goes, I'm open.
That's awesome.
and do you enjoy that process? Because I know it is such a process of like hours of putting makeup on and getting into it. Is that something that you find comfort in too, or is it a bit?
We work with some of the best prosthetic artists in the business, so I'm extremely well taken care of, and Hannah can attest to this too. We're taken extremely good care of, and people look after us, and so when we go to work, we're totally supported all the time. So it's an unusual thing to have to get used to, but when you're in the chair, it just becomes part of your day, and it's like you're working together as a team to make something magical happen.
It's awesome. I admire the work that you do, and Doug, just love it. Love how you bring that life through these characters. Just love it. Had to jump in there, Ryan. Sorry, babe.
No. This is actually what Sarak and I love is people giving us a break, so we can just you can kind of relax and take a sip of our beverages and
that's right. Well, this is day 5 of your convention here now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you've been going like what, 13 hours a day, something like crazy like that?
Yeah, right. 13 hours a day. Tomorrow's the last day. It's going to be like a half day, like 6 or 7 hours.
Well, that's the after pool party, right?
Yeah. Well, it's going to include that, but yeah.
If we were in Las Vegas,
exactly. We tried to make it like a Star Trek Las Vegas or a Comic-Con or something like that, to where it's just multiple days. So maybe people could stay at home for a few days and give that a shot. I don't know if you guys have heard, but in the U.S., we've got this coronavirus that's not quite under control as well as other countries. So maybe if we stay home for a few days, who knows what might happen. But anyway, so Hannah, I did want to ask you, this was something that I was thinking about days ago, which I think now is the perfect time to ask you, since this is the only time we've ever spoken. Now, we can all guess and imagine that when you came on set and you were cast as Saru's sister, that they probably suggested that you talk with Doug and talk about the character of Saru, or talk about Kelpians, or maybe he just came up and offered it himself. Knowing Doug, he probably did, because he's a wonderful human and Kelpian, and Fawn and all those other things. And he probably gave you advice, or they said, look, this is what Kelpians are like. Here are the movements that you want to do. Here are the intonations, all that kind of stuff. But once you had that down, then you could infuse Hannah. You can infuse Hannah's spear into Siranna. And I think we all really want to know, what part of you did you put into Siranna once you got the Kelpian aspects down?
It's such a beautiful question. I just start crying. I was like, oh.
No pressure. Sorry.
I mean, I really related to Siranna in terms of her spirituality. I wouldn't say that I'm a religious person, but I am a very spiritual person. And I think like her intuition, I really trust my intuition, go with my gut, and I don't know, just listening. I really like, especially with those scenes with Doug and Sonequa, I was just like sitting. I feel like there was no acting required in some of those scenes, because I was just literally sitting like staring and listening and just really taking in the magnificence that was in front of me. But yeah, I guess like tenderness. I tried to infuse like a little bit of my tenderness into her, and yeah, I don't know. That's a beautiful question.
If I can interject, Hannah, you took our father's position as the priest of our village. Mm-hmm. So that spirituality you were talking about came very naturally to you. I felt it was a good fit for you, as a person, getting to know you as a person ahead of time. And Ryan, we do have Kelpian boot camp, basically, because whenever any Kelpians join the show, I've done a couple times now where I walk with anyone playing background Kelpians or key Kelpian guest stars. They'll have me meet with them to go through we'll all wear our boots together and walk around, and I'll show them the gait and the swing of the arms and the basics and how a Kelpian holds oneself, and what my motivation is for my personal demeanor and my personal my persona. But every Kelpian can be different, like humans are different from each other too. So develop your own. And but here's the basics of our ecosystem. But now go for it with your personality from there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Hannah was just like, we were. Hannah, I don't know about you, but I felt we were brother and sister, like when we met in person as humans. It was like all of a sudden it was like, I love you so much. Oh my gosh.
Totally. And whenever we were on set, like, bless Doug, like I'd like, where's Doug sitting? I want to go sit right beside him. Even if we're not talking to each other, I was just like, I just want to be near him. Like,
get in line, Hannah.
Oh, right. No. But it was comforting to have you. Yes, it was comforting to be near you all whenever we had scenes together. Yes.
totally. Just like sitting in the presence of, I don't know, just being so hot on that beach. Both Doug and I.
You guys were in Iceland, right?
Well, no. When you saw us on our Kelpian village with the beach outdoor scene, that was in the what was the name of the bluffs in
Scarborough Bluffs.
Scarborough Bluffs.
Oh, so you're local still, relatively.
Yeah, in July, but it was that hot, humid thing, and so I think we had 2 people faint. If I'm not crazy. David, you were there too. David was one of our villagers. After the spell broke on all of the threat ganglia fell out of the entire village, and everybody went through Vihari really fast when we accelerated that process. David was the first Kelpian to come forward and ask Siranna, like, what's going on? Yeah. And it was, we were walking in the sand with those boots on was unthinkable. It was torturous.
It was a calf workout.
It was okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on one second here. Our good friend, Mr. Homer Frizzell, mentioned Doug's shirt. So Doug told us why he's wearing the shirt before we started filming, but do you want to let everybody else know?
Well, it is summer, so it's a Hawaiian style shirt, short sleeve, but it's got Christmas all over it. I've got reindeer, snowmen, Christmas trees, because the TV has been playing, the Hallmark Channel has Christmas in July this week. So 24/7 Christmas movies on the Hallmark Channel, and I love it. So I'm on my last day of that. So I thought I would share that with you. Thank you for asking. So that's very sweet.
As the kids say, you are here for it.
I'm here for it. Okay.
Raven.
Yeah.
Also, because we had a chance to chat before we started recording, but you've got some family members and friends, at least, that know about Star Trek or excited about Star Trek. But I don't know if you told me if you were a Star Trek fan before this. Were you?
I am. The original Star Trek with Pike and then Captain Kirk. That was what my mom and I did. Like, we sat, watched it. I'd curl up with her and just loved it. Just was hooked from then. And then TNG, that was my jam for a while. And then recently with my current partner, we've been watching Voyager. So getting into that.
Okay.
Did you know this was Star Trek when you auditioned for it, or did you find out after?
No, I did know, not in what capacity, but I knew that it was Star Trek, and we have a code name for it and everything. So I knew how to prepare. Tried not to let the nerves totally take me over, and just, you just treat it like it's just another gig. But yeah, really excited, really excited, and just floored when it happened, when I finally got the call.
Really?
Yeah, it was surreal. It was, yeah. I still pinch myself. Like, if I show up on set, I look down at the insignia on the ground and I'm just like touching things and just like, it's crazy, it's surreal, it's awesome.
Was that first day kind of like when you're like really excited for something, you're super anticipating it, and then that first day you're like, holy, I don't know if I can do this. Like, or was it just like, here I am, world, I'm ready to take it all over?
It fluctuates between those things. I was definitely vacillating in that world, but for real, I was freaked out. And God bless Doug Jones was the first one that I had contact with in the scenes with, and I literally like held on to him for a lifeline. And he is so generous and so wonderful. Like, I mean, we've talked about it before, but the cast and crew are just extraordinary in that they work at the top of their game, but they're so welcoming. Like, they provide a space for you to be at the top of your game. And it's incredible. Like, it's in a work environment that I've ever experienced. And so Doug literally just took my hand and was like, we can do this. You're doing great. Like, he was just like, I was like, did my mom pay you? Like, are you like, that's it, but that's what Star Trek is. And so it's no surprise to me that, yes, these are the people who are working and creating it. It's extraordinary.
Raven, you're getting so much love in the comments right now.
Oh, I know, right?
Sorry, Doug, what were you saying?
I was going to say about that, Raven. You often have walk and talks. Those walk and talks are just brutal when you have to, time a conversation from point A to point B, and you better be done by the time you get there, right?
Yeah. And then with like crazy syllabic words, like adrenal corticotropic. That was a fun one.
Right. That was, oh my gosh, we had a piece of dialogue talking about Tyler, right?
Yeah.
Down the hallway, and I was asking questions, and she had to deliver this multi-syllabic word, and all of us were looking at the script going, ain't no way that's going to happen. Nobody can get that out of there. Raven, you rocked that line. You never went up on that line. I was looking at you like, didn't I ask, like, how did you do this every day?
Let me tell you, I researched that word. That word had 4 pronunciations. I learned it. I was a crazy lady walking up and down my street reciting that, okay? And people are just like, they're used to talking to myself on the street. So, yeah.
No, but we all have science speak to give in this show, and we all have to look things up because the paragraphs are full of just blah, 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 blah. But Raven plays a doctor, so she add the medical element to that, and you've got a whole world of bless her heart.
I pray every night when I say those words, okay?
Right.
But I always wanted me to be a doctor, so here I am.
Best person to watch is LeVar Burton as Geordi LaForge of Next Generation.
Right?
I don't even know. He did it like he was just talking about oatmeal. Like it would just roll off his tongue, and he would say things like it wasn't just some word that somebody made up 5 minutes ago, Anyway, Sirach looks like the technical difficulties are back. What do you say? Sirach and the modern Quark, what?
That's the modem that Quark sold me. That's why it's in now. But
the modem Quark sold me.
But
That's
one thing I just wanted to add, while I still have some airtime, is how compassionate and caring that Doug Jones is. What a amazing person. It's no wonder that all of you have personal affection for him, because I mean, within 5 minutes, he's like, you love this guy, and his heart is so big, and he's so humble, and I really can't say enough good about this person, because I think Doug Jones is one of the great people in this world and in this business. And when somebody has that much compassion and cares about your experience and how you do things that much, it just resonates with you, and it makes you just love him that much more.
Oh, but I don't deserve you. Thank you so much, Sark.
It needs to be said. I have to say it while I can still talk.
He picks his battles.
I adore everybody in every square on this page today. I adore all of you.
You guys are getting so much love in the comments. I wish I could show you them all, but definitely rewatch this later just to scroll through the comments so that you can be like, oh, that's me, that's me, that's me. They love me, they love me. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff. So Linus, we have to talk about Linus.
Okay.
Eve England, by the way, out in Wales, very nice lady. Love the sneezing scene with Linus. His eyes are incredible. How do they do that effect? I didn't notice the effect. Do you know what she's talking about, David?
The blinking of his eyes. They blink this way and this way, and that's all done. That's all done in post. So the very funny thing about Linus is when he's on set, it looks like he's always looking at you because his eyes never close. So I'll be sitting in my cast chair, and I'll kind of just be having my eyes closed and sleeping, and people will come up and talk to me and tell me some information that I think I'm awake because like the eyes are looking at them.
Yeah.
So now, like halfway through season 2, people were figuring it out. So now when someone approaches me, they always put their hand on my knee. They're like, David, what is it? So.
No, I did want to follow up. Oh, sorry, Doug, were you going to say something?
I love David. I just love him.
Oh, I love you, Maggie.
He's another tall, skinny fellow and rubber bits, and we also share a very, very close kinship whenever we're on set together. I love having you there, David. He's so comforting to have around. And I want you to, David. I want you to tell them what your idea was for a Saru and Linus scene.
Buddy cop show. Let's have a buddy cop show.
Well, because I love our screen time together, and you're going to see a couple more moments with us in season 3 together.
Really?
But I want David. He has an idea that I just love.
Awesome.
I think it would be fascinating to walk in and see them discussing strategy over a chessboard and just just playing a game and casually talking. I think they would share a very interesting perspective, both being aliens on this spaceship.
Yeah,
Right. If someone came to my quarters with an emergency and like the doors open up and there we are playing chess, like I would love that more than you know.
with a bowl of blueberries.
Absolutely.
Have they told you what Linus eats? Any particular thing? Anything different?
When I've had to eat on screen, it's mostly greens. So I've had a lot of spinach, a lot of leafy greens. That tends to be what he eats a lot. We see a little bit more in season 3 of what he eats.
We do, and when we do, I'm gonna say it. It's one of the funniest moments of the entire season. I'm just gonna say there you go. I love Linus so much. I want more of the show.
Everybody loves Linus. That was something where as soon as people saw him, they wanted more and they wanted more. And it was so fulfilling that you did get more than a funny gag at the very beginning. We were afraid that's it. Was that the alien's role? They have a funny alien who does a funny thing and that's it. But they actually expanded your role. And did you know that role was going to be expanded that much, or did you think it was going to be another one episode thing like some of the Klingon roles that you've done?
I didn't know what to think. I was sent an email before season 2 started, just giving me we'd like to offer David the role of Linus the Saurian, and I did not know what a Saurian was, so I had to look it up. I was just like, what is this? And then I found the picture of the Saurian from Star Trek: The Motion Picture online. He was way in the back of the shot in the hangar.
Very different,
yeah, very different. I was excited about that. I was excited to figure out how they were going to realize that character now. And when I walked into the prosthetics trailer for my first camera test, when I saw the prosthetic, I gasped a little. I fell so in love. It's such a beautiful work of art. And then finding the character was amazing. And I don't know how or why it's all happened the way it has, but I'm really excited and honored and grateful to be a part of it and to have a relationship with this character.
Well, Saurians are rarely seen, but they're mentioned very often in Star Trek. And I think you might know
the brandy.
Exactly, the brandy. When are you going to have brandy in your hand? I want to see you like a snifter and just kind of judging everyone.
I think at some point there does have to be a brandy tip of the hat moment. So because it's been so much thought, it's been so talked about. But yeah, it was. I think I would love to see Linus get explored more, but it's a series that there are so many characters and so much story. So you just fit in where you fit in.
David, didn't you all? What was when we were all sitting at the conference table in the ready room when the episode where I was getting sick and I thought I was going to die?
Yes.
Near the beginning of that episode, you piped in about your own health issues, or your translator went off or something. What was that? I love that moment too.
Oh, the translator. The translator misinterprets his clicks and pops and doesn't translate it fully into English.
That's right. So we start out going, and we're all kind of looking at you.
Kind of like what Sirach and I have been experiencing today on this
using this technology.
Yes.
It's exciting that fans love Linus as much as I do because I love this character. I feel a huge affection for this character. So
do we.
Yes.
Now, Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know Sirach will because he is a huge Discovery. I mean, you watch Discovery 3 times each episode. I think Sirach has, but I've only seen twice. Okay, but I've only seen him once or twice each. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are now left behind in the past, whereas everybody else is going into the future, right? Do you have any idea, or do you have any wishes that Siranna pops back up somewhere in Strange New Worlds, or in Section 31, or in any of the upcoming iterations? I mean, I'm sure if you were, you wouldn't be able to say it, but you're aware that that is a possibility, right?
I mean, yeah, that would be a dream come true. I also feel like Siranna really leveled up. Like, she was piloting a Baul fighter, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe she's not content anymore with the quaint life. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her. Like, you see someone working at a computer and you just see their back, and then they turn around and it's her.
A slow motion reveal.
Yeah. And Saru does his classic, like, Siranna type. But yeah, that'd be amazing. And yeah, just like David was saying about Linus, I feel a similar way about Siranna, just so connected to her. And yeah, I think she's just so powerful. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her come back.
Here's a comment that we're not going to comment on.
Oh, not going to happen. Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah, not touching that one.
Yeah.
All of us are laughing, but we're kind of
We're quietly crying on the inside.
like, always terrified of spoilers. But.
Yeah, and Hannah, going a little more deeply into your character, because this is what we Star Trek nerds love to do all day long. A lot of times, in order to get into character, people create their own backstories. And I know that the producers and writers and Doug and the directors, they gave you some backstory on what Kelpians are and what Siranna's story is with Saru. But beyond that, did you create more within your mind, what we call our own head canon, just to give you more depth and more motivation and to, properly inspire you to perform?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in prep for shooting, I would just kind of walk around the River Valley, the Don Valley here in Toronto, and just kind of listen to music. Because Siranna is so in touch with nature, I would just spend the day walking by a creek or sitting by a creek or looking at leaves and just literally daydreaming about our childhood together.
Wow. And
how close we were as brother and sister, and how my heart was just broken because he just disappeared. And I never knew what happened to him. We had some inklings or worry that he was abducted or had gone through his Baha'i, but we never really knew. And me and Dad, Papa. So yeah, for sure, I would daydream that we were super close. And I actually thought, I can't remember if we talked about this stuff, Doug. I actually thought that you were my older brother, but I can't remember if we talked about it.
Well, I've kind of felt that impression too. Well, because in real life, I'm old enough to be your dad. So yes.
Wow. Hannah, you're 5 years old?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Genius. Okay.
Yeah. But Hannah, do you remember? Because I get asked this a lot about you and me with our forehead touch. And I love that moment because you and I were. I remember you and I talking about like when we had our goodbye scene when you were about to leave our ship after after the liberation of our people, and you were about to go back home, and you were in my quarters, and we put our foreheads together because I was saying, please come with us. You could come with us for a while, and you're like, no, like I have to go. I have responsibilities back home, and our foreheads went together, and we also that's how we met each other. But I think we filmed. I can't remember which scene we filmed first, but we wanted to come up with something that was very family. What would denote a family affection that would be just for us Kelpians to do.
Mhm.
and our foreheads kind of went together naturally. I don't remember the moment how it happened, how we decided upon it, but it just sort of happened, and we were like, love it, and nobody told us not to do it, right?
Yeah, I think it was a you suggestion, Doug. I think
Was it me?
Yeah,
I didn't remember.
and it was just so lovely. And I don't know if it was just natural putting our heads together or the weight of the prosthetics.
And the 12th hour of the day.
Right, temporary relief. Oh.
So sweet. Yeah, so lovely. Love that moment too.
And that's how creatures become lore. That's how they get created in Star Trek, is these little things that people do. Now Kelpians forever will be doing that in future iterations. Sorry, what were you saying, Doug?
I was going to say also, you talked about Siranna's evolution from the first scene the first scene we filmed with you, Hannah, because remember we filmed our short trek, The Brightest Star, and episode 6 of season 2. We filmed it simultaneously, so we were back and forth between both sets. It was like filming a feature film. So we were filming our backstory back in time and our current liberation of Kaminar at the same time on different sets.
Wow!
And I remember, I think the first thing we filmed with you, Hannah, was in the transporter room. You were about to beam back down to Kaminar. Is that right?
Yeah.
And I remember looking at you, and Sonequa and I were both at Burnham, and Saru were both watching in the room to watch and say goodbye to you. She was watching over my shoulder our little goodbye scene, which was very emotional for me. And just looking at you, you were so innocent, and looking around at the technology, like what's about to happen to me, because you've been beamed once before, but this was just so I can't believe I'm going to departicleize and then show up somewhere else in a minute here. You look so innocent and so sweet, and we had just been through a lot together, so we had to drum up our backstory pretty quickly, because that was our first scene we shot together. Cut to later in the season, in the finale, when you show up in a fighter as a pilot, fully advanced, and so that just shows that. I mean, I thought that showed Siranna's her wit. She was more than an innocent, sweet soul. She also is fierce.
Yes.
Starbuck now.
Mega fierce. And just to speak to that a little bit too, Doug, I think what you were also seeing of that childlike innocent wonder was just Hannah too, being in the transporter room. Because similarly to Raven, I also grew up watching Star Trek with my parents, and so I got there that day. I was in my trailer, I think, for 12 hours, so I wasn't even on set for the first 12 hours of being there, just kind of waiting. And then I got brought to set. Just all that to say, the anticipation was built. Got to set, and then it was just oh my, expletive.
Wow, 2 expletives.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some cussing.
I'm in the transporter room, just truly, that was where I was. That was Siranna, but that was also Hannah.
Did you say Hannah or Hannah?
Siranna.
Joke, and it was not good. So.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to be sure I was pronouncing it correctly. But all that talk of short treks got me thinking, Raven, are we going to see Dr. Pollard doing a full, just a medical bay short trek? I mean, because you have enough people for it. There's your character, there's Wilson Cruz, there's Jet Reno, who isn't a doctor, but she had the best scene going into the medical bay. I think the hangnail scene, I don't know if you guys know the one I'm talking about, but I was like, that is the most Star Trek scene I've ever seen. It's so perfect. But I don't know if you can say, but would you like to do a cool medical bay, themed short trek?
I'm a total dreamer, and so yes, all that I can speak to and say is the dreams that I have, and my imagination goes wild. And so, oh yeah, I would love to see Dr. Pollard doing all sorts of things with all sorts of people and beings. Bring that on. So I think anything is possible in space. And the more that we learn about these wonderful characters, like there's such a diversity and a richness that we have. To speak to what David was saying, yes, there's a lot of stories to tell. And so we understand, there's only so much that can be done in that hour episode. But yeah, with the idea to shorts, I say, yeah, explore the backstories and the lives of all these rich people that we have, that the fans are now, really forming this kinship with, this connection with. I think it's just lovely possibilities. And yes, please bring that on.
Okay, we're going to be getting this comment throughout this entire. I mean, it doesn't stop. Okay, so we might as well just address it, right? Everybody wants you to be the chief medical officer because we know it's not Wilson's character. So then when your character popped up, we say, okay, well, maybe it's Dr. Pollard. But then they start looking at the pips and we all, nerds are a little meticulous. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we're kind of passionate people.
Yeah. Once again, I mean, there are powers that may be that control all of that. And all I can speak to is that I would love the promotion. I think it would be brilliant and beautiful. And yes, more please of that. We'll see, it's how things evolve and how things come out. And for me, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm this girl that came from Ottawa, Ontario, this little, small place. And to be on Star Trek and to be a part of this legacy in this capacity is just brilliant. So I love where Dr. Pollard is now. And there's something that's so exciting to think about the possibility of where she could go with the crew and with her standing and her position. We get to see what a person is made of when they're given more of that, So we'll see what happens.
It's got to be so hard to answer these questions knowing that everything's already been shot. You have an entire season that's been shot, and everybody's asking you questions that are kind of dancing around the season. So thank you guys for answering as best as you can.
We love the love, and we love that there's so much interest in it. Yeah, guys, just send your love to everyone at Star Trek and let them know, hey, this is what we want to see, and we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And some more love on Raven too. There when you're an actor playing a position in authority, and she does as a doctor, she has a lot to say and a lot. She can give orders to people that are above her because of medical reasons. And Raven really knows how to own that authority without. You never once look at her and think like, oh, she memorized something and she's trying to beef up her personality to deliver that. Never once. She has owned that doctor since day one, and I love being on film with you, Raven.
I love being on film with you. You really, I mean, it's such an experience, and it's such a dream, and to be able to do it with someone as yourself, and as I'm saying, like the whole crew as well, where they support you and yet challenge you, like you gotta bring your game, and it's wonderful to be held in that way, and it just goes back to I wish for everyone in whatever your work is, whatever your vocation, wherever your lives take you, if you're able to be into a space where what is reflected back at you is only the best of who you are and what you can be, that's like the biggest gift ever. Then we go out and we pass it on to others and we uplift others in these times that are so challenging. It's just, we help to bolster each other up. And we do that by saying, I see you, I got you, I'm with you, let's do this, let's have fun. And then it's like, the world feels it, So, Doug, I love you immensely because I was freaked, it's exciting. It's the most amazing opportunity. And you just help to be like, you're here, you deserve this. Let's have fun. You're awesome. And that's not something that a lot of people do just automatically. So I thank you for being that, for exemplifying that, so that now I can do that to the next person,
Very quickly to interrupt that, there is one one comment that we need to address. Sirach, everybody's asking if we could do a guest spot on season 4. You'd probably have to be an alien, Sirach. I hate to break it to you, but I don't think Jake Sisko can make an appearance. What do you think?
I have no problem with that. I just as long as if I have to wear uncomfortable shoes, I'm going to ask Doug to teach me how to walk.
Okay, it's a deal. We'll put you through boot camp.
Boot camp, literal boot camp.
Yeah. Speaking of the comments too, who is Garrick? I see lots of comments about Garrick doing this and Garrick doing that. What's all that about?
That's a gentleman played by Andrew J. Robinson. If you know Andy Robinson from, he was also in Hellraiser. He was in what was it, Dirty Harry? But anyway,
Harry,
he played a Cardassian named Garrick, who was part of the Obsidian Order. I know these are all foreign words to you guys probably, but to us,
Hit it. Bring it.
And so he's like a spy. So they're saying he's jamming the signal, and he's picking on Sirach a lot because they were on the same series.
Okay, now all those comments make sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually just had a panel with him just an hour ago with him and Max Grodenchik and Hana Hate and Sirach as well. Anyway.
Speaking of other Trek actors too, I also have a phone. I have talked on the phone yesterday with a neighbor. He lives very close to me, Bobby Clark, who played
the Gorn
in that original Trek series where the fight with Kirk and the Gorn, right? Which was hilarious and wonderful and glorious in all its ways. So yeah, Bobby's doing great and fine. And I talked to him and his wife on the phone yesterday.
Mm. Yeah, the slowest fight scene in the history of fight scenes is what that's known as. If you guys have ever watched, it's like slow motion. Anyway, so we've got about 10 minutes left here. So Doug has trained us to ask us a particular question because we asked him once before when he was on our show. And he said, you should ask that question more instead of all these dumb, nerdy things about stuff. Just kidding, guys. He would never say that. He's the nicest person in the world. But the question is, taking apart, taking all the Star Trek stuff aside, what do you like to do when you're home? What are you passionate about? Do you, like for me, I like to garden. I like to grow vegetables. It's therapeutic. It's pleasant. Surprisingly, I had no idea, but I just did it once, and it's a wonderful thing. Is there something you guys do that nobody really knows about and you find therapy in it, or it's just ridiculously entertaining? Doug, we know you like the Hallmark Channel and Christmas in July, but we'll start with you, David.
Well, something that I just started doing in the last 5 weeks is I took up slacklining. Mm-hmm. And it's been in this time of not having a lot of places to go and sort of like staying distant, being able to go to a park and set up a slack line and spend an hour finding my balance. And, it's very meditative and you're very focused. It's been this real gift to be able to go and get out of my apartment and go to an outside space. And it's great for the core. It's great for your concentration. So I'm new to it and it's been a real lifesaver.
Yeah,
I've got one. Yeah, go ahead.
What is slacklining?
Slacklining is like a 2-inch band of webbing that you stretch between trees, and then you walk across it. You balance on it, and then you walk across it.
Oh wow!
Okay, we've seen it, and the fancy people can actually sit on it or kind of bounce on it.
Yeah, I'm working up to a jump, but I'm taking it very slowly and thoughtfully.
Yeah.
Have you injured yourself on it, or have you been pretty safe so far?
So far it's been great. I mean, I only rig it 2 feet off the ground, so if I get into trouble, I just step off. But I see that there's a lot of different, very advanced things that you can do. So I'm making my way carefully along.
Awesome. What about you, Hannah? Do you have anything that's potentially dangerous that you're doing?
No, I've been playing it pretty safe. I just like hanging out with my dog, honestly. I got my dog in November, and she's a rescue, and he was so anxious when I first got her, and it's been just a total treat to see her come out of her shell the past few months. And so I take her for walks, and we look at the trees, and I watch her play with other dogs, and pretty simple, but I just find it so relaxing.
What kind of dog is it?
She's like a mutt. She sort of looks like a greyhound mixed with a pit bull.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's a beautiful dog. She's sleeping.
If I meet a pit bull mixed with a greyhound, I'd probably be glad it was sleeping too.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Pit bulls are the sweetest dogs in the world. I've had a few, and they've got the sweetest faces. Real quick, Tamia Harper says, absolutely love Disco. Really respect and admire the entire cast. Thank you for being here. Well, Raven, what do you enjoy doing? What do you do that nobody would know about you?
Wow. Well, I love doing a lot of things, but I really love being creative with my hands. So back in the day, it was knitting, and I still am a little bit of a knitting biddy. I love it. If I can do it, I'm all about that. But lately, I've been working on writing my own shows, like solo plays. Dougie got a chance to see one of them.
So good. So good.
Really?
And in it, I created puppets. I created them out of like a paper mache base. So I really love just getting, flour and water, paper and glue, and just building sculpture-esque type of puppets or masks. So I'm working on creating a second show, and it's going to be filled with puppets. So right now I have like bags of like toilet paper rolls and old boxes and anything that I can just tear up and start sculpting with. So that's kind of what I love to do that not many people know about.
What's your favorite creation that you've made so far?
Oh my goodness. One of them is a 14-foot tree. It was the tree that was in my last show, Addicted, that Dougie saw. I created it. I should find pictures of it somewhere, but yeah, it was like
you
14.
Made that tree? I didn't know you made that.
Yeah, I made that in my mom's living room. She was like, "It's so big! Oh my god,
That's huge."
I'm like, "Don't worry, we'll put it on stage. We'll move it out of here in a few weeks. Don't worry." Yeah, that's the type of child I am from my mother. So yeah, so that type of stuff. Anything that keeps my hands moving in that kind of creative way, I love it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like that's some kind of astrological sign thing. I was gonna say, what's your sign? But you got a birthday in 2 days. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh,
Everybody wish Raven a happy
happy
birthday. In the
Yay, happy birthday, Raven.
thank you all so much. Love you guys. Yeah.
Real quick, Hannah, what do you guys think about this idea? Somebody says Disco needs an alien dog. Maybe put some horns on your dog and make her a star.
Yeah.
I mean, Raven could do like paper mache some horns.
Horns, things,
Yeah.
Okay, here it comes.
Oh, there's the love. There's the love. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Look at the love.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. I
Anyway.
really appreciate it because I actually have to be away from my family. I'm going off to work. So it'll be like the first birthday in a while that I'll be away from family. So all the wishes, thank you. I'll be taking them with me. Thanks.
Mm.
Yeah.
Somebody just mentioned a Star Trek Enterprise thing. She could be like Phlox and keep pets in sick bay.
Yeah.
That's John Billingsley. Well, Mr. Doug Jones, what do you like to do? What do you do when the lights are off and the cameras are gone and the people
Right.
are gone?
Two things really. I also like Raven. I like to get my hands into projects, but one of them is hair. I cut my own hair.
What?
Yeah, I do. I have since 7th grade. And I also then took that. I've cut other people's. I used to cut Mrs. Laurie's hair all the time. I used to cut her mom's hair, best friend Rex's hair. And it's free, so people are like, "Hey, can you have time? Can you do it?" So That's like a lump of clay for me. It's like kind of like creating a sculpture on someone's head. That, and I also love writing, and I'm going to reveal something here that I'm actually working on a novel at the moment. I just finished. I'm into chapter 4, and I have secured a literary agent in the meantime. And so this is a little side thing I'm doing now that we've had quarantine time, and all of our convention appearances were shut down for the spring and summer. So
nice.
So got time to do some writing. And in there, I think that there's going to be a memoirs and an autobiography in the works somewhere down the line. I'm already but I just turned 60 years old, and collecting stories over 60 years of life is like a daunting project idea. So I keep a notebook with me, and I'm jotting down things as that's a fun story. I'll write that down. So I'm collecting those at the moment while I'm trying to write the novel. So this is all a little free time thing that, if and when we get to come back to produce season 4, I may have to put the writing aside for a while, because too many words coming in and out of my head they wrestle each other, and nobody wins.
Can you tell us what the genre is?
The novel is it's kind of autobiographical. It's loosely based on me from 20 years ago. So picture what my career was and who I was 20 years ago, and that's before anybody knew my name, by the way. So it was I was working all the time as a creature actor, but was kind of way under the radar. So what would come with that? What frustrations or what celebrations would come with that? And put that into a character, and he makes some different choices than I did make back then, and he goes on a little adventure. Boom! That's all I can say.
Wow, that's exciting. Now,
that's interesting.
With your hair cutting skills, would you be able to cut cool designs into Sirach's beard?
Probably. Ooh, give me some of that. Yes.
It looks very sculptable.
Yeah, and whenever you see me on my social medias, go from this to a skinhead again, like bald. That's usually for when we're back in production, and I buzz that myself every other day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sirach, do you buzz your own hair too?
Is he frozen?
He's not going to dignify that with a response. I thought that was something you guys shared in common, was a quick buzz, keep things simple, because you don't want to wear bald caps. Well, we're just about out of time here. Sirach will be coming back in just a second. In fact, that's him. Sirach, I don't know if you heard what I said, but I was just asking because Doug was saying how he shaves his head every day when he's working on Discovery, and we were saying that you might be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you great.
Yes,
yeah.
I would be interested in that. Okay, good. So yeah, I heard him also. I heard you also say that could he shave in some carvings into my beard? I'm pretty sure he could be good at that too.
Dan, you heard that? Sorry.
Let me at it.
Yeah, I did.
All right. But thank you everybody for joining us. Sirach, thanks for leaving again. Oops. But it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. The fans love this. The fans really appreciate this. It was really cool of you to take the time out of your busy schedules, even though a lot of us aren't working. I know some of you are. You're at least writing novels, or Raven, you are working. And, Doug, you're getting probably calls constantly to do things like this, and we appreciate you doing this to bring some cheer and some love and some happiness into people's lives, because it's really dark times and everybody's depressed and angry. So it's good that we can not be for a little while.
Yeah. Yes.
So thank you so much, David, Hannah, Raven, Doug.
Thank you, and live long and prosper, y'all.
Oh. That's a good one. What is that?
Oh, David's got a good one. Look at how Hannah. Oh, Raven. Good separation there. My gosh.
Right. Thank you very much, guys. And we hope to see you again real soon. Discovery Season 3 is going to be amazing. Everybody keeps saying, when's Discovery Season 3 going to happen? When's it going to happen? It's like nonstop, and that can only be a good thing because that means everybody wants it really badly. So that's it. It's actually a really good thing that people are begging for it. We're all looking forward to it. We can't wait.
It is coming. We can promise you that. We filmed the whole thing, and it's in post-production still now. It's still happening.
Yeah. We know it is coming. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Srock's popping in to say goodbye.
Oh, sorry, Mark.
Anyway, Srock, we're just saying goodbye to everybody and thanking them for joining us and taking our time. And I want to thank you, Srock, because I know it can be extremely frustrating when technology is not on our side. And so we want to thank you for sticking with us. And we could hear you fine on everything, but your video was lagging a few times. So 3 cheers for Srock for, being a trooper.
Thank you, guys. It's a little bit out of my control, but I really got a chance to get to know each one of you better. And it was a great opportunity. I look forward to seeing you guys at more conventions and being invited all around to meet the fans that love you.
Cheers.
Oh, love.
Seeing you in person.
Great. Thanks very much. And we'll see you on Discovery Season 3. Looking forward to it.
Good deal. Okay. Love. Bye, Hannah. Bye,
Bye,
Raven.
guys.